All right, dive buddies, ready to go deep.
Always.
Today we're diving into the gender shades research.
Yeah, this one's a classic.
Even if the name rings a bell, trust me, there's more to it than just, hey, algorithms mess up sometimes,
It really gets to the core of, systemic issues in AI.
We're talking intersectional bias, a term this research really put on the map.
Exactly.
So, quick recap for anyone who needs it. Gender shades looked at how well those commercial gender classification systems, the ones tagging your photos, maybe even unlocking your phone, actually work, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, they focused on three big names: Microsoft, IBM, Face.
And the key here is they didn't just use whatever data those companies already had.
Which, let's be real, could be part of the problem to begin with, right?
Exactly.
So they wanted a level playing field. No skewed data influencing the results before they even begin.
Right.
Did they, scrape a bunch of random selfies off the internet or something? How they even...
They went a different route. They built their own data set. They called it the Pilot Parliaments Benchmark, BPB.
Catchy. Okay, but why parliamentarians? Seems random.
Think about it. Public figures.
Yeah.
Tons of images available.
Ah.
Good mix of men and women, too. And to really test for skin tone accuracy.
They wanted that global representation, right?
Yeah. They chose parliamentarians from 6 countries. Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, for a range of darker skin tones.
Makes sense.
And then Iceland, Finland, and Sweden for lighter tones.
So they were very intentional about that balance.
Very. Because they were going to look at accuracy across 4 key subgroups. Darker-skinned females, darker-skinned males, lighter-skinned females, lighter-skinned males.
And that's where things get really interesting or unsettling, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
Because those results, well, let's just say some pretty big discrepancies popped up.
Yeah. The accuracy was all over the place.
And not in a good way. Not at all.
This was one of the first studies to really hammer home that intersectional accuracy matters. It's not enough to just look at the overall accuracy of a system. Got to see how it performs for everyone.
Especially when it's AI that could actually impact people's lives in a real way. And when they say discrepancies, they mean some algorithms were seriously messing up.
Not just a little off either. We're talking significant errors. In one case, the error rate for classifying darker-skinned females, 34.7%.
Okay, whoa, hold on.
Compared to lighter-skinned males using the same algorithm. Less than 1%.
You're saying the exact same algorithm could be almost perfect for one group.
And for another, basically a coin toss.
Wild.
That's what they found. And it wasn't just that one example. This pattern, higher error rates for darker-skinned women, it showed up again and again.
Across all 3 companies.
All 3.
See, this is what I mean. There's always more to uncover. Because someone out there might be hearing this. Okay, so an app gets my friend's gender wrong in a pic. Who cares?
Right. It seems like a minor thing.
But it's the bigger picture, right?
Exactly. This isn't just about some fun filter on your phone.
Yeah.
This technology, it's everywhere. Law enforcement, healthcare, even hiring decisions.
Oh, yeah. Now you're talking about stuff that really matters.
Think about it. A facial recognition system.
Right.
The police are using it.
Yeah.
But it's got these biases built in. It struggles to accurately identify, say, black women.
Oh, man.
Suddenly you've got misidentification in criminal databases, wrongful arrests. It could get serious fast.
Or even just on the healthcare side. Like you said, algorithms are being used for diagnosis, treatments.
What if it's less accurate for certain groups? That's messed up.
Yeah, people could be getting worse care without even realizing it.
And it's all because of how these systems are being built, the data they're trained on.
It's like you were saying before, that whole intersectional accuracy thing. We need to be looking at these subgroups, not just overall performance.
Absolutely. This research was a wake-up call. It's not just a technical glitch. It's a social justice issue.
Because when companies say, oh, it's an algorithm, it's objective, this study was like, hold up, not so fast.
Right. Algorithms are only as good as the data. And that data, often full of the same biases we're trying to get rid of.
It's like that old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. And sometimes it's even worse than that. They found evidence these algorithms could be making the biases even stronger.
Amplifying them. Wow.
It's scary to think about. But the good news is, this paper didn't just point out the problems, it offered solutions too. They said, we need better benchmarking, more diverse data sets to train these systems on.
So we're not just testing on a narrow slice of the population and saying, oh, it works great.
Right. And transparency. Companies got to be upfront about how they're training these algorithms, what data are they using, what are the limitations. No more black boxes.
We need to see what's going on under the hood, make sure everything's on the up and up.
Exactly. Transparency helps everyone. Researchers, policymakers, even everyday people, we can all spot these problems and fix them before they cause real harm.
So, gender shades, it was a major wake-up call for sure. But what's happened since? It's been a few years now. Has the AI world actually changed how it does things?
Well, it's definitely got people talking, that's for sure. There's way more research now on AI, fairness and bias, more organizations trying to come up with rules, best practices, all that.
So some progress.
Some. But it's a mixed bag, honestly. Some companies are trying, like diversifying their data, making tools to detect bias.
That's good. Right.
Start, but it's not universal, not even close.
What about those three from the study? Microsoft, IBM, Face. Did they actually do anything different after all that?
Oh, I couldn't exactly ignore it.
Yeah.
This research made waves.
So they had to react.
They did. Microsoft, for example, they revamped their whole responsible AI thing, added stricter fairness testing for their facial recognition.
More checks and balances.
You got it. IBM, though, they went even further. They actually shut down their general-purpose facial recognition service.
Sit it down completely.
Yep, said they were worried about mass surveillance, bias, the whole 9 yards. Didn't want to be part of a technology that could violate people's rights.
Wow. One research paper sparked all that. Incredible. What about Face?
They're still around, haven't gone the IBM route, but they did update their policies, talk a lot about ethical AI now, and they say they're diversifying their data too.
It's like this constant back and forth, isn't it? Researchers uncover something, companies scramble, then some new tech comes out, and we start all over again.
And that's why these conversations are so important. We can't just assume technology is neutral. Got to keep asking the tough questions. How is it made? Who is it for? Who could it hurt?
It's like we can't just code our way out of this, right? Like throw more algorithms at it and hope for the best.
Right. It's bigger than that. Got to think about the human side of things, the ethics, right from the get-go.
Because in the end, AI, it's still people, isn't it? People making the choices, writing the code, deciding where this tech goes.
And that's why gender shades was such a turning point. It wasn't just techie stuff. It was a call to action. Made everyone face these, like, uncomfortable truths about who's benefiting, who's being left behind.
Exactly. Suddenly it wasn't just, oh, cool, new algorithm. It was, wait, are we building a future where some people get hurt because of this?
And that sparked something. Like, since then, we've got the Algorithmic Justice League, Data for Black Lives, all these groups pushing for change.
It's amazing to see, honestly, people demanding better from tech, not just accepting whatever's put in front of them.
And it's not just about tweaking a line of code here or there. It's about, like, shifting the whole balance of power, making sure the people most affected by AI have a voice in how it's made.
Absolutely. And that's on all of us, really. I mean, obviously researchers, the companies building this stuff, but everyone else too.
Totally. We can support the organizations doing this work, learn about the issues, hold those companies accountable.
We got to ask the hard questions. Who made this? What data did they use? Who wins? Who loses?
And don't be afraid to rock the boat a little. Demand transparency. No more hiding behind, oh, it's complicated.
Right. Technology is never neutral. It's always part of something bigger, reflecting our history, our biases, all of it.
So we need everyone at the table from day one to make sure AI is actually making things better, not worse.
Because otherwise we're just repeating the same mistakes, except with fancier tech.
And maybe even making them worse. But honestly, I'm hopeful. Gender Shades showed us that research can expose these problems, and it can get people fired up to fix them.
It's a good reminder that we have a choice in how this all plays out. AI doesn't have to be some scary thing in the future. It can be a force for good. That's what we need to be striving for. So listeners, check out the full Gender Shades paper. We'll link it in the show notes. And until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep asking those tough questions.
The future of AI, it's not set in stone. It's up to us to build it right.